Hello and welcome to day 28. This time I know I'm right because I double checked it. Yesterday we couldn't decide whether it was 27, 28, or 29, but today is absolutely day 28 on the Pacific Crest Trail. We camped on top of a mountain today, or last night, and it was absolutely stunning. It didn't get very cold. I was very comfortable. I'm very happy with all of my equipment choices. And there was no wind, there was no condensation. It was just perfect. And then we woke up to this incredible view and realized that this is the valley that we're going to spend the next couple of days crossing. So it's just been a brilliant morning. Really, really brilliant. I believe that our goal is to walk 14 miles downhill today. We're going to end up at the beginning of the aqueduct crossing. And hopefully everything goes according to plan because we'd really like to start stretching our legs. We've been averaging between, 9 and 11 miles this entire time. And we all think that it's time for us to start stretching up to 15 and seeing if we can't get a couple more miles under our belt every day. So we're a little nervous, but also very excited. And let's see what today brings. Looks like we're all packed up and ready to go. Or almost, at least. To whoever is responsible for this amazing water cache, from the bottom of my thirsty heart, thank you. What do you have right there? This is your reminder to not let go of balloons, please. For the love of all that's holy.
Because they get caught in electrical lines and stuff.
This has been the most incredible day. We've only done about 1.5 miles, but it has just been unbelievable scenery, cruisy trail, fun little stops. It's been amazing. And of course, I've got Wrong Way helping us out over here. We couldn't do this without him. It's not safe to videotape yourself going across these snow crossings, so I'm not going to. But just know I did it. A couple of times today. Y'all, I'm just walking along on this trail. And then the girls and Wrong Way stop and they're like, look at this amazing canyon. And I turned around and I was like, holy moly. Macanoli. That is a steep drop. That's the snow we crossed earlier. We got some friends attempting it right now. It's pretty sketchy. Good morning, friends. I think that you've probably noticed that my video ended rather abruptly, and that is because I ended up getting really, really sick yesterday. I did not have enough water or food over the last 2 days and ended up essentially passing out on top of a pass. The climb that we did the day before, I was feeling, it wasn't a hard climb. I think 2,700 feet over 9 miles, which is a really reasonable climb for me. And although I did feel very tired, I didn't feel sick or anything like that. Looking back on it now, I was more tired than I probably should have been. But I just didn't take care of myself. I was just so eager to get to camp that I didn't take very many breaks. I didn't have very much food, and I certainly wasn't drinking a lot of water. One of the reasons is because this is sort of a dry stretch for us right now, and I was trying to preserve as much water as possible. That is not a great idea. I'm sure there's a lot of different opinions about how to preserve water for long stretches, but my opinion is just carry more and drink what you need, which I didn't do. So then, of course, we got to camp, and I accidentally spilled a liter of water in my tent. So I started with 3 liters. I probably drank a half a liter, spilled a liter, ended up with 1.5 liters, which I then became very concerned about preserving in case I needed it, which at the time was that time. But I knew that our water was, again, going to be pretty spread out, so I wanted to save it for the hike. And that was just sort of the mindset that I got myself into, and unfortunately, it did not go well for me. I became extremely dehydrated, and we were climbing pretty steep hills, mountains, what have you, and then dropping down really steep and then climbing back up really steep and dropping down. So even though it was just an elevation change of maybe 1,000 feet, it was still, this up and down process. And then, of course, I did not bother to eat anything because by then I just wasn't hungry and I was really tired and I just really depleted myself. So we got to the top of this climb that it was very short, like 0.3 miles, but it was 750. The slope was like 750, which is so, I don't know how to describe it to you other than like, based on my very limited experience, it felt to me like any steeper and we would have needed climbing equipment. It was just so, like at one point I felt like I was on my hands and knees getting up these little trails, which maybe just felt dramatic because of the headspace I was in. But either way, halfway up this very short climb, I started to get really dizzy, and I was on a cliff, so if I had fallen, I would have fallen straight down. And the minute I started getting dizzy, I just sat down and waited for my tramley to come so that I wasn't doing this alone. And then by the time they got to me, I started seeing like the black specks in my eyes, and I was having a hard time communicating, and they kept asking me what I needed, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. I just don't know. So then we got up and decided that we were going to make it to the top of this climb, and we'd reevaluate at the top. So I mustered up the last of my energy and made it to the top of the climb. And as soon as I got there, I just laid down and went to sleep. Like it was the only thing I could do, and I just couldn't wake up. And I was conscious of them talking to me, and I was conscious of them doing things around me, but I couldn't respond. And I couldn't help them like lift my head or lift my body. I wasn't quite sure where I was. And they started giving me water with electrolytes. And at one point I remember eating like a Cliff Bar or something, but I couldn't eat it. It was just sort of soaking in my mouth. I know, gross, but they were just trying to get calories, I think, in me. And we were probably up there for about an hour. And I started to feel stronger, but I was still really foggy. My head was so foggy. And so they were asking me questions and I couldn't answer them. And it was just, I wasn't scared because it was like I didn't have the brain space to be scared. I just needed to sleep. I just wanted to sleep. And anybody who's ever followed me on this channel knows that I'm a pretty... I take sleeping really seriously, and I bring 2 sleeping pads, and I have this whole setup, and I'll carry extra weight so that I can have a good night's sleep. So the fact that all I wanted to do was sleep on this hard dirt cliff really said something to me about how I was not okay. Like the fact that that ground was so comfortable and all I wanted to do was sleep really had me concerned. So anyway, after about an hour, I was well enough to get up and start walking again. And we had, I think, 3 miles left until camp, or to the next camp. We were supposed to go probably 5 miles further, 5 or 6 miles further, but Skittles made the executive decision to just get to the next camp, and which was also a water source, and just hunker down. So that's what we did, and I ended up throwing up, which I guess is part of that. I'm not quite sure. We don't have reception, so I can't do any research, but I was having a hard time keeping down what I had eaten and had to drink. So by the time we got to camp, of course, like my tent went up and I just dove in and fell asleep. I just had to sleep. So this morning, we were taking it very slow. We're only doing 6 miles today, and the goal is to drink as much as possible and to eat as much as possible without getting sick. And I have already done so. I've already had a liter of water, and I've had about 600 calories. I have another 400 calories to eat before we leave camp, and I've cameled up, like I said, and I have as much water as I can carry on my back. So today, we're just going to do 6 miles and just take it really slow, because I'm not coming off trail if I don't have to. And the best way to stay on trail is to take care of yourself, right? So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, rookie mistake. I feel a bit silly about it because it's like the biggest no-duh situation you could possibly have, but it happened, and it's why my video was cut short yesterday. So I guess better late than never. I'm not quite sure what my success was yesterday. Obviously my challenge was eating and drinking. So what I'm going to focus on is what I'm grateful for, and that is the fact that I am still with my trail family, and they are so compassionate and kind and understanding and helpful. And I don't know what I would have done on the side of that mountain if somebody wasn't there. I really don't. It scares me to think about I mean, somebody would have come up on me. I mean, I would have been okay, I guess. I don't really know, but I'm just really grateful that I have friends and companions and a support network on this trail. And that's it. So thank you all for watching. I'm excited about today. Today's video obviously will start in just a hot second, and you'll see it soon. But I just wanted you guys to know why my video was cut so short, and hopefully you can learn from my mistakes, and I'm sure today will be a better day. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting and for commenting. I really appreciate it. I'm seeing all your comments and I love them. I love them. They make me so happy. I'm sorry I can't respond. The reception, of course, is very sparse, especially for T-Mobile people. If you're going to hike the PCT, don't have T-Mobile. I never have reception, whereas Skittles and Squats, I think they have Verizon and they always have reception. So, quick tip. Anyway, thank you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow.